Hey, Wes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Oop, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Can you hear me? Can you hear me yet?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me, Wes? Can you hear me? Whoa. Can you hear me at all, Wes? Oh, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
You can hear me now? Woo.
Yep.
Yeah, but not before. Okay.
Nope.
Goodness. All right. Gotcha. Well, good thing, man. Like earlier that, we're like, yeah, let's do that. It's like, oh, well, heck, we got plenty of time. Let's do it like 10 minutes before. But
Yeah.
I guess with technology and not using it before, good idea that I did it before. And I see, yeah. So I see like there's can you see what I'm looking at right here? This broadcast button in orange?
No. Only thing I see is your little heading with your picture and everything.
Okay, gotcha. So I see where it goes like it just says practice only mode, and when I hit broadcast, and that's when it's live. Yeah, it was just one email in there like at 6:30. Uh your what is it? Your attendees are waiting. That may have been you, but I don't think so. Because you wouldn't have been attendee. Shoot, it doesn't even matter who it was. Who it is? Somebody. Tony Davis. As long as that's not you, it's somebody else.
Yep.
But yeah, see, that's what tricks me out about Zoom. Um, so here I'm gonna. Well, if I share my screen, so I can do desktop or. So I've got. I mean, it's very short, like so.
Me
I'll
too.
talk. Uh, but do you want to start it like with your? I don't know if you've got a presentation or what I'll do though is I've got a. I'll show you like if we get on early, we can let it play. Like I just made a little kind of a thing for our group. Let me know if this is coming up. I shared screen instead of sharing PowerPoint, but is it coming up full screen?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, it may take a minute.
Look. Yep.
Yeah, it's a PowerPoint. Just pictures of Memphis is all like, I know how Scott's got some music playing in the beginning of his, but just if we're like this,
Check it out real quick.
yeah. There's probably like 10 slides in it.
You got more than me.
What's that?
I said you got more than me.
No, well, this just a little intro. No, my little, if you call it a presentation, it's got like four. Um, I would, I'll end up just, you know, PowerPoint. I don't hate it. It's good. It's a good tool, but um, I won't. I'll end up going through the scraper and then just,
Yeah.
introducing our group probably multiple times, and as you will too, and then just talk about what we're into. You're in the first, I'm in the first and second. Hey, oh, you I had to put that in there now. No.
Yeah.
uh, and just where we're at, like, I'll show you mine. I'll go through it real fast. I just won't hold on to them. But this is just something, put together that if, as we're doing this, I guess they would hear us talking, but I think we could mute ourselves
Hmm.
and let this play, or not mute ourselves, but they'd hear us talking. I know Scott will have his play and he'll be doing whatever in the background, but you know, let me see. Uh, all right. So if I do mute myself, you can't hear me. I'm sure there's a way. I'll figure it out, like how, to mute us
Hmm.
why this is playing. But we don't have to use it. I just wanted to show you, if in the future we, want to let it run through before we're on.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be bad because Memphis group, man.
Yeah.
Uh, the only other one I had is just this, and so, but I'll go through like what, figured to just start here. Let me move this joker. Always gets in my way. Um, and so basically, like, just giving everyone my social media, a few times, and this is really it. Um, I was just going to mention a couple of things about, like building your team, how, like I had the web scraper built, how you're working with, if you want to, how you're working with someone on Excel, like how you don't need to do every task yourself,
Yeah.
hire people to do it, just like you would for getting a BPO, or getting someone to look at your title, or your collateral. The biggest companies in the world right here, Google, and then here, uh, Snapchat, look at what they built, 20 employees, 4 billion market cap, but mostly, so they rented Amazon's cloud. So if someone already has something that you can use, you just don't need to reinvent the wheel. You use what they have, and that's kind of what I'm falling back on, with you, with our meetup group, and with anyone else that attends these, to help each other out. Not that we're, in competition. We're, whatever they say for the notes, co-opetition,
Yeah.
and you can, is it, please move the window away from the, what? Hopefully they can't see that. But yeah, so this is my social media. So I was gonna keep stats where I'm at, so just monthly. So here's where I'm pathetically at. I've got 1,288 Facebook friends, 23 Twitter followers.
Hold on, Ryan. I don't see nothing coming up on the screen yet.
Okay, crap.
It's just like you got the little spinning icon and
Really?
that's yep.
Oh man, I'm glad I did this. So let me see. I'm gonna take off animation, man, because it's got, yeah, animations. Yeah, give me a minute. 6:44. I'm glad we came here early, man. Woo! Uh, I wonder if that's why the transitions. So none. I'm gonna try. Hopefully that'll fix it. Did the earlier ones come up in the slide?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, God, jeez. I probably didn't share the screen again. Maybe. Let me see. Let me try that. maybe it was preview mode. Is anything up right now?
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, cool. Oh, scare me for it. Is it coming up yet? The other one?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I was just, going to social media, just, my links,
Hmm.
please do the same or whatever you do. And this is where I was talking about how people are outsourced, like companies outsourcing, and how we, should outsource and not try to be the pro at Excel, the pro at, building this, the pro at looking at title, the master of it all. And it shows how the people that are most successful of how they don't do that. They get people who already have stuff that's in place to either to move quick, or so you don't have all the work, and so you can make money quicker.
Yeah.
Um, and then this is my social media and how I currently suck. So shows how many followers I have now, and I was just going to keep up with it. So I've got
Hmm.
1288 friends Facebook, 23 Twitters, that many connections, and 4 subscribers, and this many in our meetup group. And I'm just going to, so over here, as next month comes along, I'm just going to add in the new numbers. So I'll see where I was at when we started, doing videos, and how pathetic I am now, with my network, and then just show how it can grow if you apply it and if you stay with it. Um, and I will stay with it, as tough as it'll be to do it throughout the month and to make them, once a month, whether, we change to do it once a week, every other week. It's a lot. I mean, I think it's just a matter of putting together,
Yeah.
just topics to talk on. And it can be something real simple that we could carry on about, but,
Yeah.
you know, uh, I think the better thing to do is do those shorts, and then, this just once a month, I guess this is an introduction, and I think, we should talk about it to see if, once a month, if we do it for, uh, I guess whatever topic deserves in depth an hour,
Hmm.
good. But just the rambling on, da 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 da. For a little bit, I was cool with it, but then after you see so many of them,
Hmm.
it's kind of the same thing over and over of whoever it is, Scott or anyone. It's like, God, another hour long video of, I just need the 10 pieces, uh, to know.
Yeah.
um, but that's it. And so, man, I'm just gonna be open book.
Yours, yours pretty nice. I like your presentation. Honestly,
Well,
do.
that's another thing that I was gonna just mention too. As of, I didn't create this from scratch. Just show you where I got it for 15 bucks, and
Hmm.
willing to give it to you, share it with you. They've got, I think, like 4 colors, and you can change it to where it
Okay.
doesn't look like this. Of course, you can change it to whatever. Uh, cool site. You probably already know the site, but at where you can get that, and then even, like the web scraper that we got, or that I got built from, uh, freelancer is where I went for that one.
Okay.
And but yeah, like either, so 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you can, man. Do you want to, go, see, yeah, see if you can, screen share and everything, like, I'm trying to see if we're both on the screen. I see my picture and I see your video. I guess you're seeing my video, right? I need to,
So, can you see my screen?
I made you a panelist, but I was wondering if we could go back. Yeah, yeah, I see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
So pretty much for mine, I was just gonna say, this remedy, uh, go over this quote by Benjamin Franklin. Uh, go over the coffee and notes. Join us on Saturday mornings. I wish I had a picture of you. I could put right here.
Coming up again, man. I've got one. You may email it to you.
Yeah, email it to me real
Okay.
quick.
I was gonna say,
And then I got my background, what I do by day. I'm an engineer, uh, and the reason why I got into real estate. I hope I ain't got any
yeah.
typos because I didn't spell check
Oh
any.
man, God. The closer and closer it got, I realized how many I had. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then I put this in here. Whoa, that's a big number.
Hmm.
Um, I was just gonna pretty much speak on that's my goal of note closing in the next 3 to 5 years.
Gotcha.
560. pretty much going over what is Remedy asset investments, what I look for in my buying criteria, um,
Gotcha.
pretty much how evaluating the tape. I just want to have this
Yeah,
PowerPoint in there, and then I was just gonna go on more details and pretty much this.
yeah, yeah.
Other slides I'm gonna delete real quick.
Okay.
I might add these in there because I know you said something about the state of the market and
The what?
the state of the market.
Um, what, like in the intro, like in the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I was gonna
no,
put
no,
this.
no. Leave it, man. Leave it. Yeah,
Leave it.
yeah. Because I don't have any remembered. By memory, I don't have anything. I
Okay.
remember, like, yeah, there's 3 billion in distress loans. So no, heck,
Yeah,
man, leave it.
I didn't know where to put it. I don't know if I need to put it
Gosh,
before.
yeah. I know. I moved my crap around here or there, but it was easy because I had like 4 slides.
Yeah.
And,
So I mean, that was pretty much it for what I had.
that's fine, man. Shoot, let's just. I mean, I think it's just a matter of being consistent and just
hmm
doing
I'm
it
gonna
and
delete
keep
the
doing
rest
it.
of this stuff.
And we'll look back at the first one. I'm like, oh my God, man, look how we sounded, or
Yeah.
how we worked. It's
It
just a
sounds
matter of,
horrible, man.
yeah, we'll always sound like this and look like this, man, unless we just stay with it. So just,
Yeah.
I know, stay with. I know you underestimate. I think we all do underestimate everything. Like, oh
hmm
man, yeah, I'll put a PowerPoint together for it, and you could, and it would, and it would fly. But of course, the more you look at it, and the more you check for the errors, the better it is. But
Yeah.
that's one of my things. I always notice a misspelling. Not that, because I know what happens and it's human. So not that I'm like, oh my God, he don't know his stuff. He misspelled something. But uh,
Yeah.
I always pick up on little. Not always, but I don't pick up on my own. But I pick up on somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else's. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like,
let
oh,
me
he didn't put
go
him in time.
because I'm gonna show this tape.
Cool.
Um, I just want to delete some of the like address. I didn't
Sure.
want to
Yeah,
and the loan
if we
ID.
got time, man, or we can carry it on. Whether people stay on or not, because it's actually recording now. But I can edit it. And
Okay.
probably make a few edits to where. Um, I don't know if we could edit it down to 5 minutes of good content, but um,
Yeah.
if that would mean to be making a whole new one, or actually I could. I'll just, it won't be the best edit. It'll just, uh, you know, I'll put in uh, text on the screen and say, the best 5 takeaways, or whatever we come up with that they are, the best 6 takeaways from this hour-long video in under 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. What else I was gonna do? I want to make sure I got. Let me hide this. I want to show this.
But
That's in progress.
I know, man, or whatever I have, like, yeah, if I end up going down another topic or something, I'll just skip over it. Like, yeah, this is irrelevant, even though there's just a few of them. But um, if I end up yippity yapping about a
hmm
web scraper or something. But yeah, if we have time, I was going to open that up and say I had it made by VA, and I guess I could have made this. It would have probably taken me 6 months, and who knows how many hours of lost work for my job. But I could have made it, but for $200, I had someone make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like Snapchat does.
Yeah.
Man, I'm browsing around in here right quick to see if it'd be cool just to have the Memphis thing playing where we're muted. Like, so I'm gonna hit mute. Let me know if you hear me.
Okay.
Okay, I guess you couldn't hear me. Do you see a mute button for you anywhere?
For me,
Uh-huh.
yeah, up here in the corner.
Okay. If Man, maybe if we both mute ourselves, we could do that. You want to do that?
Yeah,
And
you can try it.
Memphis slideshow?
Yeah.
Let me see. Just make sure you this will stop other screen sharing.
Yeah. Let me close some of my work stuff.
I was gonna say, make sure you uh, mute yourself or don't talk, man. Or
Oh, let's see.
man, I think I'm sharing your desktop. Okay, no. Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself and then go live, and go live to because it's 6:55. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, uh, hit it on that slideshow, and I'm gonna hit broadcast, but I'm gonna hit mute. So so I mean, you don't have to hit mute, but I guess if you don't, whatever's going on will be heard by any and everybody. But let me see. Screen share. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Mm-mm. Oh. Well, whatever. Hey, everybody. Wesley, are you there? You there, Wesley?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How's it going, man?
Going well, going well. Good to see you.
Good, good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan. I'm with Barnett Group, and this is Wesley Wells. We're pretty much new investors, or at least for myself, speaking for myself, I started back, or didn't even start, but attended Paper Source back in April of last year. And I don't think I'm going to make it this year, but since then, it's been I'd say a daily grind of education, study, looking, scrubbing tapes, mentors, of looking and finding notes. I have a few just in my self-directed IRA. So I opened up a single member LLC and ever since I haven't found any notes. Just the real estate market's climbed up, so they're there. But being 10 months in the industry, uh, with my skill level, I haven't found any that I would put money on, or if I had a JV partner that I wouldn't buy with currently. But another cliche of if you're in real estate, you're always in real estate. So that being said, I am looking, and I'll show you a scraper tool that I had made, and ways that I'll scrub tapes. Just everyone has their own way, but I'm definitely a complete open book, ROI calculator or whatnot, and basically everything that I use thus far. Um, we'll share with you and show you how I do it. And really, in doing that, just personal belief of mine. I've told Wesley we have a local meetup group with the Memphis Note Closers group. Just everything comes back to you, whatever you call it, karma, or I always say the world is round, so everything comes back around to you. It may not be the same person you gave out to, but it's going to come back around to you in one form or another from someone. So I'll show you my pathetic, pitiful social media numbers.
It's not pathetic, Ryan, man. It's not.
Oh, I hope yours aren't any worse. But to grow, because socially and in person, that's how it's done. I was watching a webinar earlier with Bill from Paper Source and Scott, to where attorneys, it's just being in the network, being in the know of who of where they'll find notes or get them, just like you'd get a pocket listing on a real estate house before it would go to market, just from knowing them. And being in the note business, you have to know people more than just in your state, because you may not even have any notes in your state or in your city. But my presentation is pretty short, and I could babble on all night for too long. But I'll just I'll get into what I have, and let me know, please. They're all recorded, but for anyone that's live, and I took the chime-in bell off just so I couldn't tell how many people were dinging off. But let me know, or in the chat box, let me know if you cannot see it. And if you have any questions or anything at all before or after or during, just put them in there. If the chat log's recorded too. If we can't, get to them during it, I'll answer them after, with whatever it may be. So yeah, me and Wesley. So we started just a local meetup, and he actually, there probably are some, maybe they're just hidden underground. Can you see that okay, Wesley?
Yeah, I can see it pretty good, Ryan.
So he makes it's like 2.5 hour drive, isn't it, or two?
Yeah, I make a 2.5 hour drive to Memphis from Missouri. I am a native of the Memphis area, so I take the drive on a frequent basis, visit family, friends, so it's no biggie.
And that's how I feel about it too. I mentioned it to him and some others that we had from Little Rock. They had the same hour drive, but opposite directions, basically. I guess one coming from the west, another from the north. But I was like, well, it's Memphis Notes, but we don't have to meet here every time, but there may be more, groups, they come and go, or the members come and go and change. So it's definitely, I see it more so definitely with technology, but it's always great to meet up in person, so currently we meet up every other week, and then we will have an online thing currently just once a month, the third Tuesday. It seemed like the only day that Wesley came up with that wasn't taken. I know Monday nights are taken.
Yeah. Mondays, pretty book.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty book with Scott,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And two, and boosting our social media, we'll edit it down to we could ramble on for an hour, but who's got time for that? We probably will in this just to shoot out, Barnett Group. I buy notes. So when I go to rev.com or uh, Google Translate, wherever it is, to translate it, get some more social media power in it. But this is my contact info from Facebook, Ryan Barnett. Little long of an email, phone number. Go to my or just noteassets.com. If you call that number, you can reach out to me. But that's what I opened just after, and I love the Roth IRA, of being in the Roth IRA. I just wanted to do a little more. How it came across to me is, and I guess if you look at performing, Wes, it's like passive income, just as rental houses were always touted about as passive income. But the more I realized it and talked to just old timers in the business, Tom Henderson, and others, like, no, this is a business, and yeah, you treat it like a business. It's a business. You treat it like a hobby, and it's hobby money. And I was going to show you a web scraper, and Wesley probably will show his ROI calculator too. We were just looking here at the biggest companies in the world outsource things. So you don't need to be a pro. You do need to have some Excel skills, but don't need to be a pro at everything. What you're not good at, just outsource it. I went to freelancer.com for mine, and there's plenty more. Upwork.
Yeah, I'll have to second that, Ryan, because for my Excel calculator, ROI calculator, I pretty much use Upwork to freelance that out and help with some of the formulas and everything I needed to write with it. So it's pretty good. I'm pretty strong in formulas, but some of the macros I got a little stuck on. So using Upwork has tremendously helped me. So
Absolutely, and I need to get his contact info, because you'll search on there, and you could if you've got a network, you could just ask, hey Wesley, who'd you use for your ROI calculator? Because I've talked to some on there, like, I'm trying to get the values of the houses off of Zillow, off of Realtor, and it's it could be someone from America, but it could be someone from another country that may speak good English, may not, and may
yeah,
not know anything about real estate. So if you can jump on the boat of them just doing, because I could give you a copy of my web scraper, and I don't mind doing it at all. But you may be like, this isn't really what I want. I want Trulia's value. I don't want realtors and Zillows and this and that. So, but if you know someone who may have worked with someone on a different platform, then they would have a good idea of what you're already wanting. But here Amazon, not to just talk about outsourcing, but it just kind of went hand in hand with not being a pro at everything, and it's just how quick Snapchat, we're on the older side. I know I use it, Snapchat, not much, probably should use it a little more, but it's crazy to think just Facebook, I don't know, 10 years or something. It seems like it's been around a long time, but it really hasn't been around that long, and just how fast it changes.
just how much growth they've done over a short period of time. Yeah, it's pretty
Absolutely.
amazing.
And it is just at the beginning, because advertising's so cheap. I don't know how well it does, but I think, once the larger companies jump on board and start pumping money into it instead of the TV, I'm sure it'll go high. But yeah, I mean, like here, they rented Amazon's cloud, partnered with Square, so they didn't, I want to own everything.
Yeah, they didn't go about reinventing the wheel. They just pretty much use a wheel that was already created and just built upon that. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I'm about. And that's, from, I met Wesley through notes actually on, I think the WCN crew page or somewhere in there with the,
Yeah, I think it started on Scott's note count, the
yeah,
last previous note count.
that was it.
Uh,
That was it.
Made a few posts on there, and then you made a post about the meetup on the
Yeah.
WCN crew Facebook group,
Yeah.
and just from there, me and you just been going back and forth and trying to figure out this thing called note investing.
Absolutely. I want to start a group. Hey, I want to start a group. Hey, let's start a group. And that's, when you push each other. I mean, everyone's has their own, motivation and,
Strengths and weaknesses, and
yeah, 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 yeah. Man,
yeah,
that's what the world is about is working together. Both people have like, you say first, I like first and seconds, but I think there's a different environment and time, not for everything, but for some things, and it's definitely, not a time for seconds at all. Hopefully, at some point there will be again, and it's like a payday. So,
yeah.
everyone has their criteria, what they're doing, what they want, and I'm just going to show you again. Yeah, my slides are very, very short. I'm just going to show you at how I suck and how at building a network, it can all help. And what I'm going to do is just I've got my current numbers on here, and just every month I'm just going to change them. So I've got 1,288 Facebook friends, 23, a whopping 23, not 23K Twitter followers, 1,380 LinkedIn, and 4 subscribers on YouTube. And the first video will be on there today. No videos. 90 members on Meetup. And so and I'm going to keep that first number there and probably add dates in there, and just just see how it changes just from doing, a few little things. And, if you guys and gals have suggestions for, topics in the future, I mean, it can be any and everything related to notes, or it could be, related to, I'm not a WordPress expert by any means, but did work in IT 20 years ago. And but I do, I kind of keep up with some things, but going back to outsource, and I didn't outsource that. I just had a personal issue with it. So I just learned it, and it wasn't a big leap for me, but for some people it could be. But anyway, it was, like it got hacked into, but I think it got hacked into by the person who actually built it. You have to give them complete access to do it. And, since I remade it and I like it better, it was actually with another business website. I've been in business for myself for 18 years, pest, termite, and wildlife regional company, 7 employees. But, was just intrigued by notes at first. I'm and I could kind of ramble on. So Wesley's got to slap me or tell me to shut up sometimes. But I just switch gears. You'll get burnt out on one thing, and I don't want to go lay down, but I want to switch gears to something else. So it's like multiple streams of income, but I don't come home I mean, I will watch TV and watch a movie, but it's not an everyday thing to where, I'm off work, I'm going home to watch a movie. It just switches gears to something productive. But you do need your off time, and not to keep it too business-like, but this is, they call it EOS. It's a real good little program that I went through, like with business of, you can't be everything to everybody. You have to, either be better, faster, or less expensive, and you kind of, you pick what that is. Like, I can, I'll get a bit in faster before anybody or whatever. But I guess it depends when you see the tape, or you can be better, or the cheapest. But it's about, picking that, whether you're investing with someone or doing it yourself. You could just kind of like in business. I mean, I was a one-man show for a good 10 years. And then the last 8 years, I was like, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing. I need a mentor. And so it's just a series of mentors. It's amazing at the growth that you can do when you have them. But and so
Hey,
It,
Ryan, we got a question in the Q&A section from Rodney. Uh, Rodney, for my company and my business, uh, I buy non-performing notes and I also look at performing notes. Uh, Currently, at this time for me, I've only bought non-performing uh, currently, but I am interested in the performing notes. So,
yeah, me too. Me too. You know, I don't want to ping pong around. When I hear someone that admire or respect, like Bill, I swear it's the first. I want to say Montegro. I, I cannot remember. Uh, I got his newsletter over there though with Paper Source, but so he mentioned, he stays in performing, and in my mind it's like, well, that performing could go non-performing at any day, and I don't want to pay the money. So to me, it just depends on price. Um, so I would go with non-performing or performing. And what I didn't realize is, in the beginning, the network that is out there, the servicers, definitely wouldn't recommend you service your own notes and send out your own bills to get it back in if you ever want to sell that note, or borrow against the note, which is a whole different topic. Collateralized assignments, which I need to learn more about, um, and student debt loan is something I need to learn more about. I know it's not bankruptable as far as I know, but I think there's a big problem coming with it. So and I see Shonda Lau has been a good mentor too. Uh, it's like on a mortgage. If the husband and wife don't sign, then you can only collect 50% of it. So with student loans, like say the parents co-sign with it, which I believe most of the time they do. I wonder if it's not. I just wonder what type of returns you can get on it, because they're kids borrowing money, $200,000 in debt, but buying a BMW and maybe a house or an apartment instead of going to school. Uh, so, but I'm definitely into the collateral behind it. Not into the credit card notes. I actually met someone who does the factoring on accounts, or had a business um, that I'm actually working with tomorrow for. Who would do or possibly may do commercial sales for my pest control business. You wouldn't think, but you can actually make good money. Not as working. Well, you can if you're good at sales, but just going around as a technician, you can't necessarily make good money. I guess depending on what you mean by good money, but he's actually into factoring and everything else. I'm like, where are you looking to work? Doing this. He's done it for another company, but it's actually the highest paid profession, and you're not taking on any of the risk. You're a low base salary of $2,000, but if you can sell, I mean, you could make millions. You're not really capped out, other than whatever the company caps you out at. So, but I don't know much about that either. But what a long answer for me. But yeah, performing, not performing, first, seconds for me. But I'm not interested in it all. But I would say the student loan, I just would like to know more about it, and I don't even know if you can buy it. So, but anyway, and strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threat. It's just really all of the answers on this for me personally is I say deals, skills, and money. It's just we're really networked. At Cody Cox, you might have saw Wes. He sent an email of how we're all connected, and
Yep.
he said something about every or a certain percentage of actors in Hollywood are all related, or within a certain within one family tree of Kevin Bacon or something like that.
I
I
don't
was
think I've seen that one yet.
I was like, what? It wasn't that long ago, and my words are off with it. So, but yeah, horrible. I guess description of whatever it was that I was rambling on about. But yeah, basically, I mean, here I'm just saying, kill your story, the one you keep telling yourself in your head. It's just, if you don't know something, you can learn it. If it's related to notes, I won't know the answer, but I'll know someone who does, or Wesley will know someone who does. and I would refer you to him or to someone else if it's something that, I don't know. So it's, yeah, when I first got into it, I just didn't know the network of the servicers and of the people you meet who know of, like on the previous screen, one of my weaknesses was markets. Like there was a tape. I was calling banks last few weeks, and there was a tape that came, uh, but people saw it before. I wasn't the first to see it, but there happened to be two in Memphis, and I drove by them, and they were REOs. It looked like they've been vacant for a while. The value was 160, and I was like, no. Well, the actual what they were wanting for the note was 160. I was like, no way, no way.
Wow.
So I mean, the network of knowing the realtors and other people that are in the other markets, um, critical for sure, absolutely critical. And I was just getting out of mine, so definitely not the end, but I was just getting out of my rambling and my presentation. And you want to share anything, Wesley? I can share my web scraper, but go ahead and
Sure. I'll show the
you're good.
presentation that I have currently so far.
And the states you like, I've got it in that sheets over there. It's Missouri and it's Memphis market as well too, Alabama, right? Or certain parts of them, right?
Certain parts.
Yeah. I guess you can't say Missouri, the whole state.
Yeah. So I don't know if Ryan mentioned this earlier, but my company is Remedy Asset Investments. I started this company uh, probably a year or so ago, a year ago. And the main reason for me starting a real estate company is I love my job, my day job. I'm an engineer by trade. It's just, I mean, that's not guaranteed. They can come in tomorrow morning and say, Wesley, your position has been cut out. We found a better way to do things, and boom, that's pretty much the end of my career. And I'm on LinkedIn or somewhere looking for another means of income to provide for myself and my family. So uh, that's why I took the leap. And this quote by Benjamin Franklin pretty much resembles what I did by starting this company. It's just investing in knowledge. It's going to pay the best interest. So I invested my time and effort into real estate, and hopefully it's going to pay off great returns for me in the future. Uh, this just is a slide talking about our meetup. We meet twice a month on Saturday mornings over a cup of coffee at our local Starbucks in Memphis, Tennessee. Uh, we meet up. We discuss note investing, different forms of real estate investment. If you have those questions, me and Ryan I try our best to uh, answer those questions. And if you guys are in the Memphis area or new to the area and you want to come down and check out a few assets, just stop by, look us up on Meetup, and just stop by for a cup of coffee on me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we carried on a little long. Go ahead. I'm gonna stop right there.
Oh, you fine, Ryan. Just jump in anytime. Like I said, my background in history, engineer by trade, help solve customer issues and save cost, time, and waste by using various methodologies in the field. Uh, like I mentioned before, my main reasons for getting into real estate was to increase my income, uh, provide above and beyond for my family. I mean, the job I have now, uh, I'm blessed to have it. I love it. It's great pay. I just want to provide more for them and give them more opportunities that I didn't have. I can provide for them. And my main point was to just control my destiny, because I don't I don't know what I'll do if they come in there tomorrow and say, "Hey, you're fired, Wesley."
Yeah, we're outsourcing.
Yeah, I know, man. It'll suck. It'll suck. I'll bounce back, but for the short time,
Oh
it'll
yeah,
suck.
yeah, absolutely.
So, Remedy Asset Investment, it's a private real estate firm based in Memphis, Tennessee. We specialize in buying residential whole loan mortgages or notes uh, for a predetermined yield and for cash flow to add to our own portfolio. I don't know about Ryan, but my main strategy with buying notes is to hold them. I'm not really looking to sell them. I like that long-term wealth option that you can get by investing. So if you were to classify me what type of note investor that I am, I'm more of a buy and hold type note investor because I want to keep all of those for my portfolio. So one of the key points that we like to use in our buying criteria to help mitigate some of the risk in my investments on either portfolio loans, a pool, or a single asset. I mainly look at first lien loans, performing and non-performing. I want to have a good mixture, probably I would probably say a 60-40 split between performing and non-performing, and that includes turning some of those non-performing to the performing side. Uh, that's how I want to see my overall portfolio of performing non-performing notes. It must meet our predetermined minimum rate of return that we're looking in our investments, so we can, just rest assured that we're making a good sound investment if we're meeting those yields. I look for metropolitan areas in or around metropolitan areas that have a greater population size of 30,000. So in the event I have to take back the property and foreclose it, I at least have a big pool of people that wants to, that's looking for a home. I tend to stay out of rural areas, even though the area I'm in right now is a rural area. I know it pretty well. It's just, uh, I would prefer to have my properties in larger population sizes. Uh, Areas where I like to invest, I like to establish a local real estate team there. And that real estate team consists of property managers, realtors, contractors, people that works at the local title companies, any hard money lenders, if I'm able to meet with them, and even the investors that go to any local meetups that's nearby. I like to establish that team so I can understand the market a lot better, so I can make a very sound judgment in my investments. I know Ryan mentioned earlier some of my hot spots where I look for investments are Memphis and Missouri and Alabama, uh, and Indiana and Michigan. So we're looking nationwide to try to find some loans and notes. Uh, so my minimum monthly cash flow, I'm looking per asset is at least $300. So when I'm doing my whole scraping of pools and tapes, I like to take out any assets that have a PI, principal, principal and interest payment of $300. The reason being is I'm looking for that actual physical cash flow. So anything less than 300, I have a tendency not to even just bother. I just kick it out. Think it's too low value, and that's $300 for me personally. If I use my own capital to buy an asset, or if it's an investor, I want to at least give them 300 per month per asset uh, if they JV with me or partner with me. Um, the properties I'm looking at currently, the fair market value needs to be at least 40,000 or greater. The I want to up that up pretty soon, probably to 60. Just because, with a $40,000 property, $100,000 property, $150,000 property, I mean, you're gonna go through the same process. So at least you can get a little bit more valuable home going in that aspect. Would you agree, Ryan?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you have to start somewhere, and
Yeah.
yeah, you have to. You can't go too high, but same thing as with the rental. It's kind of hard to rent a $300,000 house to make it cash flow.
Yeah.
But absolutely, better quality owner, better quality tenant. Not
Hmm.
absolutely 100% of the time, but the majority of the time.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons, like I said when I mentioned my population size of 30,000, the reason why I want to increase my fair market value on properties is because, my generation of millennials, eventually we're gonna transfer from renters to home buyers, and
Yeah,
you're gonna need that square footage, that good, starter home, something that's not gonna put you completely in debt on your first asset, and a good starter home for your family. So a $40,000 asset is pretty low. I'm looking to increase that up a little bit more
absolutely. Yeah, have you
on some future acquisitions.
and he's got the ROI calculators. I could show you one that I use. It's
Hmm.
not well. I guess they're never done. You always are changing and adding and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I've got a cool little, or I like it. Web
Hmm.
scraper tool. It does it quick. You're not bouncing around here or there, but you still need Excel. But it uses Excel.
Yeah.
But I could. Uh, whatever you want to do. Are you and heck, I don't mean to interrupt you. Are you still going on the? Are you
Oh,
at the end of this here, Wesley?
it's fine.
No,
Uh,
no, no. Well,
so let me keep going. Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
kind of messed up. So just going with my presentation some more. 560. Uh, that's the that's my goal for my company for the next 3 to 5 years, to acquire 560 notes. They can, like I said, a mixture of non-performing and performing notes. Uh, that's a big goal coming from a newer investor in this field, but I think it's a goal if I push myself and make some uh, connections. Uh, I think I can. That's a very attainable goal that I can meet.
Absolutely. And stuff always looks different. When you're, I guess at 200 and 405, you just have to keep growing and keep adding systems. I know if you've got systems in place for any and everything.
Hmm.
Heard Paul Burkett talk one time, as a system for opening the mail, and you do because, and no matter what, if you do everything, if you look at title, if you hold the actual note in a fireproof safe yourself, still, or whether you do that or you give it to someone else, not
Hmm.
someone else, but Richmond Monroe or a number of other people or certain servicers, you have to have a system for so everyone that comes in that's not performing, we do this, a
Yep.
checklist, however long it goes. And, but, and we both have some of those, I think
Yeah.
that's on, I don't know if that's in your ROI calculator or somewhere else, but
Yeah. And just to let everybody know, I'm very big on systems, even with my ROI calculator. Actually, with one of the freelancers that I've met on Upwork, we're looking in kind of develop some kind of system for me to use, so I can track how many bids I put in, how many got accepted. Because coming from the world of engineering and working with General Motors and Honda and Nissan, those KPIs are very critical in their eyes as well as mine, to see how we're performing to them as a customer. So I want to implement some of those best practices that I've learned in my career into my business.
yeah, absolutely. I know you pick up stuff along the way everywhere you're at and take it with you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you got to be an open book, open minded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So uh, this slide is just telling where's the opportunity. There's Fannie Mae every day. Every so often, I get a LinkedIn post notification, or I see on some of them Facebook that Fannie Mae is selling bunches and bunches of loans, even though at the current moment all the loans are going to Goldman Sachs, and we're kind of seeing that little squeeze in our little niche, real estate niche, on how many notes are getting our way. Uh, it's fine. I just want to show everybody that there are opportunities to get in this niche of real estate and actually thrive in it. Because I'm a big believer that if Goldman Sachs can bounce back from the crisis that they've done, and and back in '07 and '08 and '09, if anybody can bounce back from that and still be able to buy loans, or uh, the little investor like ourselves, we can make something happen as well.
Absolutely. Well, I saw, it throughout calling banks, I sometimes in researching, couldn't find any LinkedIn connections. So I just go to their
Hmm.
website, and it's amazing, at how
Yeah.
many, I don't know, I just estimate, I think 6,000, and that may include credit unions, in the U.S., FDIC insured banks.
Hmm.
Um, and go into some of their websites, at where they, no documentation loans, no this loan. It's like, you can just
The
see it.
Wild Wild West or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm starting to see, and I didn't know of this bank before. I wasn't in this business before, but
Hmm.
I know, we moved, up in house, just, in house, in the market crash, and
Hmm.
uh, I won't do the same when the next crash comes here, tomorrow or within a year or two, and how big it'll be. But
Yeah.
values are going to drop, and I'm just waiting for the notes to buy, and may, do a stellar finance note on this, but not
Yeah.
just move up in house at every crash. But it's definitely coming. But yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I don't know this bank, and multiple. I don't know if that's just a practice they do, or if it's just kind of history repeating itself. I think it's just history repeating itself again, in some fashion. I don't know
Yeah.
how severe, but
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't know if Cole want me to, Cole, he came to our meetup this past
yeah,
our last meetup,
yeah,
and Cole contacted me about a asset just to help him go through some of the paperwork and some of the steps needed to acquire an asset. And I mean, the bank was very responsive to him. Gave him everything he needed, but at the end of the day, the asset that we were evaluating wasn't really worth it. It was more of your realm in the seconds. So it was just a little miscommunication among the bank when they sent the collateral files to him. That he was thinking it was a first. I even think they thought it was a first, but when you look at some of the recordings in
yeah.
the county records, it was a second lien. So
Goodness.
yep.
Trying to
So
talk. I know you never. I mean, you never know if they knew. You would think they would know.
yeah, you would think they would at least know what position that note was in, but I mean, maybe it was a clerical error somewhere in the process. So
Yeah, and maybe they didn't, and maybe they did, and we're trying to toss it off as a first, because
yeah,
there is a lot more people getting into notes, and so I mean, even making hundreds of calls, I definitely got my message down, and yeah, I crashed and burned for a little bit at first when they may. Didn't really mention any terms that I wasn't familiar with,
hmm,
but just pushing. It's like you can tell when they're ready to sell, and it's like they're pushing. Well, we need this today.
yeah,
There's $260 tape, and I said, well, I'm interested in 9, but I need to, do some research on them, title research. And we can't wait that long. It's like, but it was
yeah,
one of the ones where I drove by the one in Memphis. It's like I wouldn't want it anyway. I mean, no
yeah,
way. Jeez.
yeah,
So I mean, there's definitely crooks out there too.
yeah.
It's the real world for
Yep.
sure. But
So yeah, it's some uh one call them crooks, just untrustworthy people.
shysters,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Not all of them, but
yeah. Not all of them, but so just looking at this slide, there are opportunities for loans, as you can see. I mean, the loan sales have increased dramatically from 2014, 15 to 16, and uh, based on a chart at the top of the loan sales report. And if you look at the bottom from the that data is showing is that in 2010, I mean, it was a hot market. Uh, delinquency rate score high, and then it just plummet. So it's just all about being prepared for that next uptick like that in the next downturn. I think where we can really capitalize on some of these investments.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. That's, yeah, as the, well, Paul Burkett at the Note Expos, he mentioned we're all competing with Goldman, and I
Yeah.
don't know if they were at 2-something% on where they can borrow money. And, we can get, good returns, but it's just the waterfall that trickles down for how much of a pool you can take down with what type of, how large your network is, but
And
yeah.
and for my company, I know that's one of our targets. Looking at the single assets, just buying assets one off, but I'm looking at more pools of tapes, trying to take those down and going, like you said, and what you're doing, calling the banks and going more direct instead of some of the hedge funds and things other investors I've been dealing with.
Absolutely, me too. And when we mean pool, we don't mean pool your money together, but pool. They'll call a pool, and they're. I'm sure there are people on here that absolutely know what a pool is, or a tape, but it's just like what Wes has on the screen now. It's not just one single loan, but multiple loans.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be when you JV or joint venture with someone, or joint venture with multiple people. It's like per deal.
Yep.
You would joint venture for a certain amount of money on a certain asset. Like you can't mix funds with assets unless you open up a Reg A or some sort of fund, like a hedge fund with a private placement memorandum and just more documentation. But that's when you're, I don't know, I would say I've heard different figures, but 10 million would probably be the minimum to do that with. That would even be worth. So really, but buying pools, it's just to where you're, through self-directed IRA or cash, money in the bank that would get depending on what it is, preferred return of 8 to 10%, typically, but depending on what the deal is.
Yep. I would agree. So this I'm going to go in a little bit more details a little later on, but I use a financial model to analyze tapes to gather property information and determine a bid based on what I require for a yield uh, to make a bid. I want to take all the guesswork out for myself personally of what I'm going to submit for a bid, and then I go based on that. I also remove any assets that doesn't meet my guidelines as far as location, occupancy status, and payment details, and also property details. So that's pretty much what I have for the presentation format section. But if any of you guys want to reach out to me, a few of you guys have reached out to me on LinkedIn already. Just go by my website, remityassets.com. I just released it, so it might have some little quirks to it. You can also shoot me an email at wwells@remityassets.com, or just give me a call at 682-703-0258.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You want to do
So,
any, oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just going to say, Ryan, probably want to show everybody that web scraper you was talking about.
Sure. Yeah, give you a break.
Yeah, and I got to charge my laptop up before it goes dead.
Won't definitely not try to take long. And it's just a tool. Of course, it. You're only limited to your imagination. Let me see. All right, sure.
Sorry about that, Ryan.
Hey, that's all right. Can you? I'm trying to share it and it won't let me. You may have to stop. May have
Uh,
to stop share, maybe. I'm not sure. Or can you see my screen?
yeah, I see your screen with
Okay.
the sharing everything up top.
Bunch of junk. Okay, cool. Just checking.
Yeah.
So this is just
Are
woo,
you
no.
are you
That,
clicking anything?
yeah, it's probably like it's probably delayed. Can you so this, can you see like some binoculars there or any window?
No, I don't see anything right now.
Let's see.
I just see your logo. Uh, notes and realestate.com. There you go.
Okay, cool. Gee,
Back in
gee,
business.
Louis.
Sorry about the delay, everybody.
So what this does, Shondor was and still is a mentor. I haven't talked to him in a while. I missed his call today, but you can get linked up with him, and you help him, and he helps you. He's into seconds and a little bit of first now because the market has changed. So for this, um, you actually, so just say in your email you get is everything still coming through?
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
coming through.
Okay, good, good, good. So just I'll go back to old tape that's expired, and so you would just however you get this, from a bank, one loan, two loans, whatever. Basically, what you do with this um, is you want to get it into Excel. So you just this one's got the county, so we'll take that. Like I say, you can get this made any way you want to get it made, and it can be a little. Of course, that won't work. Let me go to another tape. Um, and the thing about tapes too, they'll somewhat be pretty consistent, but depending on what bank it comes from, it's going to be. And I think that's the only one from there that's the county was in there, and I don't need the county, so what I would have to do is just make a new row. But with this, it puts it into Excel. But before you can get it in Excel, you have to put it in a notepad. So I'm just copying and pasting the addresses into a notepad file. And when I open up this, so it'll clear the last, so it's going to output it to here. And as long as, if I don't hit clear, like you can do multiple sections at a time or tapes at a time. It'll do as many as you want. I haven't ran more than like maybe 30 at a time. Because initially what you would do would just be you would download the Excel file to your desktop, filter it, take out states you don't want. So a tape of 200 could get whittled down to 100, and then you could run all 100 through them in Excel or this. But you want to break it down in some sort of a way. Even everything has its limit. So if you did run 100 through this at once, it would take a while, but you can do other tasks while it's running. Shouldn't take too long though, because it's only 3. And so it's not running a API or anything. Like you can do more than 1,000 Zillows if you did do more than 1,000 in a day. It's just pulling data from the website. So this it's going to Zillow.com, Realtor.com, GoogleMaps.com. Oh my God. Hopefully I probably did mess it up. So, because I started it again, but let's see. Sure did. So we're going to run it again. Everybody's getting practice. So clear it, select the file, which is just those 3 addresses. And then when you do get it to Excel, that's kind of you do your criteria, your filtering and everything before, but so this is just getting values, and you can, have a VA program or whatnot, get what you want. And there's, tape text, not tape text. Oh shoot, what is it? Note Pros. That is great. I think it does, does stuff with banks as well. I forgot how much it is. If it's $27 a month, that may be worth it. And like this, I'm using it for now, just for some stuff, but I may not use it forever. I had a little extension that I created. It's almost like creating a website, but it just opened up tabs in, Zillow, Realtor, and then I would cut and paste the tab in here. So anyway, working with Shondor, we what he would do, and what I've kind of got accustomed to, would average out. So you can, right here, go to the Google Map view, the Realtor view, Zillow view, and it pulls the bed, bath, Zillow, rent, just info that you want from Zillow, the year built, if you do want that in the plugin. Tried to get him to get the county value, from Zillow, but we couldn't. I had a list of every county in the U.S. and everything off of the U.S. Census website, but it was just a big ordeal to get that. But I'm sure some software company will, and this is nothing that I want to get into the software business to keep updating, or when it errors, fix it and all that. So just for, my own use, basically. And then from here, so you have this data, and so from here, it's in Excel, and then you would, to where Wesley has, for your workouts, and he has his set up, totally different. This is just a common source. It's got a lot of info on it, but basically on your, non-performing, if you're going to loan mod it, how much, basically insert your fields in the blue part, and depending on how you're going to work it out, or potentially work it out. And, your return is, you get your return when the deal's done. So this is just all what you're aiming for, and probably what you'll get. Sometimes you get surprised and you get more. But it just, you need to run it in there to know, to know what your return would be, if what you're wanting to, worst case scenario, if you have to foreclose, you want to know how much of your return on investment is going to be, just after plugging in those numbers. And this isn't connected through different workbooks, but that's what I'm going to do. I want to add a little more to this, values from a couple other sites. I want to get so some of this I'd have to manually enter in. I have to go to the county website, which I would go to Zillow, and get the county value off of Zillow, plug that in there, and then just do, an average for the sale of county value, Zillow, and Realtor. And I'd insert a few more cells, like we've done in the past with Shondor, how he does his bidding with seconds, to come up with a percentage bid. But I can do it quick just because I've done it in here. But if you were starting out, you can get into your more due diligence after you submit. If it's something you're really interested in, I would open up an ROI calculator and plug in your one asset ones, and not get too detailed on. You can do this after, and then it's really, if you get to pulling BPOs, you wouldn't even need to do this, because you could if you just wanted to do some busy work. But if you get the BPO, that's really what you would want to go on, if you get one pulled, to know what the value is. But so basically from here it pulls that, and I won't even get into it on this one, but you can create macros that everyone's got that developer tab. If not, you just need to just change it in your in the Excel ribbon. You can add it in. But if you record a macro, that just records your steps. So, and then you save it as don't print it, a macro enabled workbook. And if you just click instead of just a workbook, but a macro enable workbook. And then so, if you resize all the so whatever you do, and then when you run that macro with whatever you name it, run it, you can create a button for it or whatnot. And I can help you do that if you'd like. There's nothing to it. It's just when you hit record macro, you name it. Don't put any spaces in it. Always save it as a personal workbook. And you can even make a shortcut key control something so it'll record. Like I think I've got it. So yeah, no, that was the wrong one. One of these are saved. So whatever you do, you can make your, you can filter this, you can resize the fields, you can add whatever to it, but whenever you hit your button, or if you put it in the toolbar up there, it's going to run it. So, and then you can save it, but then, so you're not, so every time you download an Excel file, you could make a macro for, PPR macro, or so-and-so macro, because their tapes are formatted a certain way every time you get them. So you could just run it every time you, get a tape from them, and then you're not resizing columns or getting it to the way you want it to look every time. You can just hit that button and you're done. And that's it. And that's not it, but, and then you're done, formatting your spreadsheet. But I like it. I need to get Wesley's contact on his Excel guy. You could learn it. You definitely good to know Excel some, but yeah, as far as creating it, your time could be spent better elsewhere, looking for assets and letting a programmer do it for $200, $300, or whatever it may be. Definitely well worth it. Money well spent in my eyes.
Yep.
But oh my God, Wesley, you have anything that you want to share? You want to share your ROI? I'm not pressed for time at
Yeah.
all.
I'll show it real quick. I know we got it scheduled for an hour. I don't want to take too much of everyone's time. I'll just show it real quick. So Ryan, can you see my screen pretty good?
Yeah. It looked like I had a pause share before it let me. Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the way I evaluate assets, I kind of took out the loan IDs and the address. I didn't want to have that shown on a webinar. But how it works is I take this data here from the tape that I received from a seller. I take it and I plug on the pronate columns into their correct locations, just for a formatting thing for me. So it's in the same location every time. Once I have it in this particular format, and I'll run the macro that's in it, it'll actually retrieve the data on this side of the spreadsheet. So it puts all this information into it. Some of these are formulas that I've written, and it'll populate over here. The market rent, it'll pull it from Zillow, and it also give a estimated value of Zillow. It'll give me also the low and high value that Zillow is reporting. So I use that as pretty much a baseline. Over here where I have site 1, 2, 3, or 4, I will add some additional site information. So if I go on Realtor, I put that in. I go to the county appraisal site and see what from the last appraisal what they put in as a value, and add that in. I also add in some delinquent taxes if there is any. Try to give a judgment as far as crime as it's good, average, something of that nature, so I can just determine and see what the area is. It also pulls the baths, the beds, the square footage, the year built, and it also provides a link to the asset. So if I was to click on this link, It'll open up in my web browser to Zillow. And from pretty much here, I'll look at an evaluation of the area. I look for recent solds, any kind of information that could give me uh, to help me make a sound investment. I would pretty much use it here. I also use other sites, Home Facts and everything like that, to try to get a estimation on value before I go to a realtor. Um, I, I'll go to a realtor after I've put in my indicative bid, and if I need to fade my bid back because uh, say what I've used on the websites is just showing too high, I can fade my bid back using that realtor's BPO or their draft by CMA to give me an accurate determination on the property's value. Um, One thing
We
that
need to fade the
I'll
bid
huh?
back. We need to fade this bid back a little bit. The dogs urinated all over. Sorry, guys. I was getting tired. I had to say something to wake myself up. Not from you, Wesley, just from a long day.
Yeah. You'll say anything. So right here in this column, I have a rating system. Um, it's pretty much pulling from this tab here, and I pretty much categorize everything as far as the investment to value, borrower loan to value, rental rates, how many days they're delinquent, what I'm expecting as a rough ROI, the neighborhood evaluation. So once I put all that information in, go back to here, it'll spit out a rating for me. The reason why I like this rating system for my personal self is I know I need to spend time on these two assets instead of going down here to the one that's 57. Uh, Now that's excluding if I add some more estimates that I put online and it increases the value, or I say it's a good area to live in. The crime rate is very low. I mean, this could shoot this rating system up 20, 30 points based on my criteria. But at the end of the day, it's just helped me to kind of weed out some of these assets because you get a tape of 300, 400 assets. I mean, you need to cut those down into the, your top 10 or top 5 that you just want to make bids on and just pull the trigger on.
And you can,
Mhm,
like where you took the addresses out, you
mhm.
can, so you can paste the addresses from the tape in there and it'll spit all
Yeah,
on it, right?
yeah, and it'll make the links to it and everything and pull the
Awesome.
information based on the address, the city, and the zip code.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So as you can see, going through a few of those assets, I got a few comments that I like to do. So like for this one in particular, it said population was too small. I pretty much Googled Johnsonville, South Carolina, and put it in just to Google, and I seen the population maybe was like 7 or 8 thousand. So I'm pretty much out at that point, unless it's very, very close to a major metropolitan area. I'm pretty much out of it. Uh, I'm pretty much Xing that asset right then and there, just because of it's too small. And if I have to take back the asset via foreclosure, I'm really not going to have that many buyers in the area. It could sit on the market just way too long. So I pretty much take it out. So like for this particular asset, so this sheet is just initials. This is me just roughly looking over it. I'm throwing the data in, just trying to get a feel for the select few tapes that I didn't cipher through on the assets that I've received in. Um, and then I go into a little bit more detail with me being an engineer myself. Uh, so this button here is called bid details. And once I hit it, it's gonna populate another screen. So this is what I pretty much I use in evaluating my assets. So it puts all the information in um, from the main tape and it adds it into the spreadsheet, and it gives me a more of a breakdown view of the asset. So just on a side note, I kind of borrowed this template from Steve Hodgen. He has a YouTube channel, great resource. He he was on Bigger Pockets, helping newer investors if they need some of that collateral reviewed. He'll sit down and work with you. From what I've just seen, what he's posted online, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but I kind of borrowed this format because I kind of like how it presents in my eyes as an engineer. So that was just a little side note and a little shout out to him.
You say Steve Hodgen?
Yeah. So
taking notes here.
Yeah. So for me, it'll pretty much spit out my return. So I have a target bid price. So this target bid price is being based on what I want as a return. So I was just playing around with it, and I want a 36% return off this particular asset. That's what I have my criteria set. And it's saying that I need to make a bid of $19,000. It's giving me a bid of $19,000 because it's taking into account over here on this tab my cash flow and my expenses that I've set aside. I've projected for an asset, so it's going to take those into account, and it also is going to take under my underwriting over here to the side my time frames of what I've put. So if I can change some of these numbers to make it a lot quicker, like say for instance, if I drop this down, just playing with the numbers here to 10%, you can see that my target price increased to $30,000. So if I'm looking to get a 10% return out of this investment, $30,000 is what my targeted should pay for this particular investment. Now, am I going to pay $30,000 for this asset? It depends, but that's pretty much what I have as a target based on my rate of return that I want to achieve on the asset. I also have right here is the retail bid price. I know Rodney in the chat want to know what is my pricing for like contract for deeds. So this retail pricing, if I can get a pricing expectation, so if I go right here, so say for instance, the seller is giving me, they want 45% of the unpaid balance. So I will put the 45 here, and that pretty much correlates to this. That is what I'm gonna pay based on a 45% of unpaid balance of this 24,000 here. But just being in the world of investing, of note investing, I don't think that the seller would want to take $11,000 and the BPO value is 60. I think that'll be a bad deal on his part, but if he, and lucky for me if he does take that. That's just giving me a kind of a spectrum between this one and this one before I can put down here in my actual bid price of what I'm going to put. So if I put in, let's say 20,000, you can see right here my actual ROI. That's what's pulling based on this number. It's going to give me a return that I'm going to get an ROI return of 50% and an internal rate of return of 40% for this particular asset if I buy it at $20,000. And that makes sense because I currently have my target at 10 and it shows that I need to make 30. But if I pay 20, I'm going to get these returns, a higher return. So that's pretty much how I utilize my spreadsheet to kind of help me calculate bids on assets. So to answer Rodney's question, if it's a CFD and I know they're taking 40 cents or 35 cents on the dollar, I would just put that here and pretty much go here and make an evaluation of based on my target price. If I want to make, let me see, 20% is the minimum that I want to make, and I know that the seller would take 45. I'm pretty much, that's my upper and lower control limits that I pretty much use on the asset. So I would start here at the retail price. I will go up because I see the value of the asset. So say I might make a bid of 18,000 to the seller of the note, and he counters back at 28. Well, I know that 28 is not gonna achieve the required return that I want, so I know I cannot bid past this 25 number. So that's just pretty much giving me a range that I need to stay within before when I put my actual bid price in. Um, so that's pretty much how I do my due diligence. Is and the costs I have associated. I do have some extreme costs uh, in my acquisition costs. So uh, for me, getting a note is going to cost me about $1,600. Once I get a note, I need to add 1,600 on top of it to do all my due diligence and everything on the asset. So like this due diligence fee here of $600, it's pretty much using an investor that's well known in the field. His name is Dion. He has on his website, if you want him to review some of your collateral file, what you've done in your due diligence, I mean, you can pretty much purchase it here. And the costs and just some of the stuff he goes over, the collateral file, servicing file for you, uh, some of the things just to help you walk you through the process. And I think he charged about $600. So I have that. I'm not necessarily going to uh, use that, but I do have it set aside just in case if I get in a position I really want him to try to look at the loan I'm about to purchase and make sure I'm making a smart purchase. I could utilize that, and I have the funds set aside for that. Um, Another side note is listening to other investors. I pretty much use my primary strategy when making bids is foreclosures. So I don't make a bid based on the assumption that somebody is going to reinstate and I can collect that cash flow. I pretty much just use the foreclosure, what it's going to cost me to foreclose, and all those costs of holding it and disposition it. That's what I use as my main strategy when I'm making bids. Um, Another thing about this spreadsheet, if I go here and I adjust the time.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't see that 600 when you're talking about. I think you said Dion. Uh,
It's on it when you go here.
where are you at now? What screen? What screen are you seeing now?
I'm on the website. Can you see this?
Okay, no, no. Probably have to new share. Probably like share again.
Hold on. Let me see.
We're at the financial model analysis, like the looks like almost a
Let me see.
PDF on the home tab.
I know what I did. I switched screens, and when I switch screens, it doesn't show it all. Can you see it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so on his website, he has the services in due diligence and underwriting for any new investors out there. If you want somebody to kind of double check your work before you make a purchase, because I mean, making a purchase of $30,000, $40,000, I mean, that's a pretty big investment. So you can go here and purchase now. Um, Wait for it to load. And as you can see here, you can add to cart $600. And it's pretty much he's helping you out with some of your assets.
Yeah, Rob Height does that as well. I don't know what he charges, but and there's a number. No, there's a number of people, of course, that do. This industry's, well, I guess I wouldn't say it's made up of coaches and people to help you,
Mhm.
but then again, it is, and as kind of like with me and Wesley, the more,
Mhm.
if after you see 50 or 100 title reports, you may start doing it yourself, depending on how much time it takes you, or you may not. You'd be comfortable doing it, but you may have it done elsewhere. But yeah, like that, with the due
Yep.
diligence, it's You could have a coach that you've worked with,
Mhm.
or
Or a mentor,
yeah,
somebody,
yeah. So I mean, there's definitely multiple ways to skin a cat. I think I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean that option is great for somebody that hasn't grown their network yet. Excuse me, and they need somebody to double check some of their work, some of their calculations to see if they're making a very sound and good investment. So I mean, I see the value in it. I haven't used it yet personally, but if I ever get into a spot where I need to, I
Yeah,
know I have that option, and I know I have the funds set aside to actually use that. So
yeah, yeah. I keep hearing of how small the note industry is, and maybe maybe it
yeah,
still is, but I keep hearing of new people all the time. Like I never heard of that, of him before. But
yeah.
still,
I I mean, I like he's on the YouTube channel with Steve.
gotcha, gotcha.
He's pretty in my eyes, Scott Carson, he's a great introduction to the
Yeah,
note
yeah,
industry. Dion, he kind of and Steve, they kind of go a little bit more in
yeah,
depth
yeah,
on some of their analysis,
exactly.
and I like that. That's the
Yeah,
type of thing for me. I like to see numbers. I like to see
absolutely.
calculations because I'm a numbers guy. So for me, that makes me feel more comfortable about making an investment
Yeah,
than
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
going through the.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And yeah, learn. You life's a series of mentors. And you keep learning stuff from
Yep.
the previous ones, and you gain new ones along the way. But I'm
Yeah.
with you too. Yeah, yeah. I'm that type of person too. Whether it's you're buying a note, just like you want to see the soft collateral, like the email of it coming in,
Hmm.
and then Rob Hytha did a Facebook Live deal. Trying to win a contest. I don't know if he knows the results yet for the uh, world's not the world's, maybe it is, or the year's best real estate investor. But did Facebook Live. He was looking at a collateral file for someone, and at the allonges and the assignments, and one of them wasn't stamped, so that was a problem. Not
Yeah.
that it can't be fixed, but you want to go back to the seller and either lower the bid, find out how much it's going to cost to fix, to
Hmm.
find who assigned the mortgage to whoever that bank or that person sold it to get it
Yeah.
stamped, and them to sign off on it,
Yeah.
um, to lower your bid for that amount.
Yeah. Hold on, Ryan. Look like we got some. Oh, they said they was on the cover page. Sorry about that, guys. Hope you can see my screen now. I just wanted to make sure everybody's seen it. So yeah, for me, I like you said, you just gotta learn to grow and just learn the ins and outs of this note investing field. So other thing I want to show everyone is if I change my exit month, so you can see it's say it takes me 6 months to do everything with this particular asset until I foreclose it and sell it at an auction and or put it on a market for sale and sell the asset. Say it takes 6 months. It's saying yet again my target price is 33,000, but if I go here and up that to 26 months, that's when I'm going to exit. It's dropping my price significantly. So I kind of play with the time frame, and also I play with the yield to see what best suits me as an investment.
Absolutely. I was trying to. There was just I'm trying to answer the rest of the questions on there,
Yeah,
and the last one, I don't know. I can't say that. It almost sounds a little familiar, but I'm not sure. You ever consider HHF? So many acronyms. I used to be a MCSE, Microsoft Certified System Engineer. There was so many acronyms to remember. 203B. I'm not familiar with those at all. Strategy 821 strategies. I don't know if I've, and I may have, but I don't believe I've used them because I do not know. So um, but I'm curious, Rodney Walker. Um, I'll look into it. I'm curious to know what you know about them, just to expand my knowledge as well. But I'm not sure, Rodney, but I will check into it. I know somebody that we know does, and is probably using it. There's people that,
Uh,
like at Paper
So,
Source, they strictly buy commercial, or they strictly buy lottery winnings and class action settlements. I didn't realize how much notes there are, but we're strictly
so,
into single family collateral. Uh,
so, so Ryan responded back. He said HHF, which I kind of thought it was. I was going to ask him, make sure hardest hit funds.
oh, gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't personally bank on hardest hit funds
Yeah, no,
as a primary exit strategy in your investments. I think who was it? Wayne
some states are
Wayne
out.
Snell. I mean, yeah, some states are out of it, but I mean, it was a Wayne Snell. I think he said on one of his interviews recently that he's done over 500 to 600 notes, and I think
Has it?
it's
What's
the
the long process?
yeah, this the first time he's ever got a hardest hit fund that it went through. So
Yeah,
me personally, I wouldn't bank on it as even a strategy. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
kind of
like
like
looking through the seconds, getting them to fill out the application to. Uh, you'll have them fill out a HUD, or to get their info to see. When you have seconds, you have the credit report, social number, like a seller finance note. You have a lot of info there, so you can see if they're making BMW payment, 2 BMW payments, but they won't pay their second mortgage. So and you can look at Pacer for bankruptcy if they're filing or trying to file. They'll file Chapter
yeah,
7 and then not go through with it, then file it again. Anything to weasel around it.
yeah,
But yeah, I wouldn't count on it either. The hardest hit funds. I did hear that, and I heard it's great if they pay it. Maybe it was easier before, but it sounds like it. And I've never experienced it, but it sounds like it's a process you have to get them to qualify for and fill out
yeah,
paperwork to get approved for it. But it's all of that. Kind of going back to with that asset, if you can find out or not if there's uh, if they want to stay in the home or not from the get
mhm,
go. If they do, then they'll fill out that paperwork.
yep.
But
So yeah, just to answer your question, I wouldn't bank on hardest hit funds. Um, I mean, it's like you getting a cake, but I mean, if you get sprinkles on top of the cake, oh yeah, it's nice, but it's not necessary. So it's one of those things that's an added bonus, but I wouldn't count on it that much.
yeah, I've heard a few people say like, oh, yeah,
I
$20,000 debt, hardest hit funds
it,
check.
yeah, and that was one of the things like I heard about. I went to one of Eddie Speed's note school
Yeah,
events in St. Louis. It was probably like a year and a half ago, and that was one of the things he was talking about, hardest hit funds. And when I researched it online, I was like, wow, this is an awesome program. If I buy a note, I know for sure a hardest hit fund swoop right in and I can get my return. I just found that to be uh,
it's an awesome government program.
I mean, it's a great thing. I just found it to be a little misleading about
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
you know,
I've noticed in the short 10 or whatever months since April, uh, and I wouldn't even call it in business. I, formed LLC a couple months back just because I was like, I'm going to do more than just the IRA. And
mhm,
it keeps changing. It changes. I wouldn't say constantly, but like I got into it and I wanted to get into seconds because you could get them for so much cheaper, and then they got expensive as first, and then the whole hardest hit fund problem with it actually working, and of hearing people but I went to it one day with our local RIA, and yeah, I wouldn't call it over promising, and nothing against them. Great education, but yeah, you have to educate yourself. I mean, on it, and learn from people doing it.
mhm,
I mean, and I guess they're doing it, but they're also doing a school as well that could teach you a lot. But there's multiple sources out there, and I wouldn't stick with one. Heck, what you can buy, you can get for free too if you just spend the time to do it. You're going to have to spend the time to learn it in the class or with groups anyway. So Um,
Yeah.
and that all goes back to that when I first, for some reason in my mind, I was like passive. God, what great returns, and it's passive. But getting into it, it can be if you partner with someone JV, and get 10% return. Sometimes more where they split stuff on the back end of it too.
Hmm.
And it's good, and I'm not against doing that. If because Wesley's not going to see every tape that I see, and I'm not going to see every tape that he sees. But if I've got a JV agreement that's closing out in 2 years, and I've got extra cash just sitting there, and he's got a great deal that he offers me a return on, and then something on the back end or whatnot, and I've got nothing better to right now. So yeah, I'll do that with you, Wes. So it really can be a team, a network. It is a network, and it's and that's why we form the meetup group and are forming this is the meetup group, the online and the in person, but to expand our network as well. I mean, we want to learn from you guys as whatever. Hopefully, you're learning something from us, but we know y'all have skills, and y'all know things that we don't know, so we want to learn from y'all as well, as being a panelist or contributing anything that you feel like you contribute, whether it's just a question or anything. But I appreciate everyone attending, and Wesley, you can carry on if you want, but
Well, I just,
oh,
before we wrap up, I just want to ask, I appreciate everyone for coming out and joining us on our first webinar. This is my first time actually being online or doing something like this. So I'm very appreciative of everybody for joining. Uh, and hopefully you guys come back to the next one. And I hope that we gave at least someone some information that they can use in their note investing uh, career.
absolutely, yeah, y'all, and it'll be recorded and put on
Yep.
YouTube, Facebook too. So if you comment there or reach out to one of us, we'll answer your question if you have question about whatever it may be, Wesley's spreadsheets or whatever.
Probably on the next meetup, it didn't change by then.
Yeah, and if y'all know of any topics to where we can dive in deep an hour on creating uh, a spreadsheet, a good looking spreadsheet, or breaking a tape down or whatever, we'll have topics of our own as well. But
Hmm.
we could just as well get some great or better topics from any of y'all. But
Yep.
I appreciate it as well, and good to see you too, Wesley. I will
All right.
see you Saturday.
Oh yeah, man, for sure, for sure.
Take care.
Hold on one second. Somebody asked under what user are they putting the YouTube videos on before we go?
I think heck, it'll record like it's recording now, and when I stop it,
Mhm.
it'll format it into MP4.
Okay.
I don't know if I got the live recording to YouTube to work before we started or not. So
Hmm.
I'll upload it to I may have to Dropbox it or Google Drive depending on how big it is
Uh-huh.
to you. So I'll put it on the four followers, and you can follow me
Yeah.
at the Barnett Group. See, till you get 100 subscribers, I didn't even put my address on there because it's 1P46A4Y5560 YouTube channel. So I'll put it there. It's tough to even find me on there, but if you go to noteassets.com, there's social media links at the bottom, noteassets.com.
Yep.
I'll put it there, and then Wesley, he'll have it on his YouTube channel as well.
Yep. And we'll try to send the link out to the video to everyone in the group,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely,
from both our channels, so you guys can catch the replay at your convenience.
absolutely. You'll find it. We have a list of who attended, so we'll create a group and shoot it out there as well to
Yep.
everyone. So good deal.
Yep.
Appreciate it, everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Bye bye.